It can no longer be business as usual between the neighbors. The only real questions that arise are: when will India carry out military action? What form will it take? And then Pakistan's response and escalation.
Footage released by the Pakistan military of military exercises undertaken in anticipation of imminent military action by India. The Indian Navy released new footage of anti-ship missiles being fired during a naval exercise as it looks to demonstrate readiness. The world's fourth largest army boasts state-of-the-art machinery and systems. A jittery Pakistan fires off with repeated threats and blame as it comes out to protect the killers. Sources say 4 of the country's biggest terror faces have gone into hiding, supposedly fearing targeted strikes from India, with the leadership even resorting to the N-word.
Pakistan will not be the first one to resort to any escalatory move. However, in case of any escalatory move by the Indian side, we will respond very strongly.
In the last week, Prime Minister Modi has chaired a series of top-level meetings of committees of the cabinet as teams at every level deliberate on modalities of responding to Pakistan's terror aggression.
India will identify, track and punish every terrorist and their backers. We will pursue them to the ends of the earth. India's spirit will never be broken by terrorism.
On the diplomatic front, screws from both sides have been tightened like never before. Bridges of the past stand firmly dismantled. Both countries have closed the only open land border they share. With visas cancelled, there's been a major rush of people from both sides returning. That extends to defense advisors in New Delhi and Islamabad, as well as personnel serving in missions on both sides. All bilateral treaties stand suspended. Trade has been halted. Pakistan has also closed its airspace to all Indian-owned and Indian-operated airlines, with India also stopping all Pakistani flights.
This is just the first step. These are the non-kinetic first steps that the government has taken to change the rules of engagement with Pakistan. That is no longer business as usual.
The world has urged restraint, even as sparring from both sides hits a feverish pitch, as all eyes remain locked on to when and what form India's action will take.
Now, more than a week after the terror horror in Pahalgam that killed 26 people, investigation teams continue to uncover multiple layers and dimensions behind the attack. The plot, the perpetrators, and threads that run deep. Big challenges emerge too. Security concerns in bringing Kashmir to its feet again, while weeding out the rot. Here's more.
आप टेंशन मत लो, अब बेटा आप यहाँ पे रहो, हम साथ में।
मेरे बेटे का बच्चा लो।
हम बच्चा देगा, कोई बात नहीं। मैंने मुझे
क्या बोलते भेलपुरी खा रहे थे, मेरा पति साइड में था, एक इंसान आया, उसने उसको गोली मार दी।
To think this paradise on earth, Baisaran Meadow, Pahalgam, had just about begun to realize its brilliance again. Droves of tourists had signalled good days returning. And then all hell had broken loose. Mayhem reigned again. This video of a tourist ziplining over the meadow actually ended up recording terrorists at work, killing people. Terror investigator National Investigation Agency that took over the case says the killers in Pahalgam were in close touch with an intricate network of overground workers even during the attack. Forensic evidence, videos taken by tourists and interviews of eyewitnesses have revealed much. Everyone has a hair-raising narrative to relate.
मैं जब zipline कर रहा था तब firing start हुई.
Firing started when I was ziplining. I did not realize this for around 20 seconds. I suddenly realized that a firing has started and people on the ground are being killed. I saw 5-6 people getting shot. After about 20 seconds, I realized that it was a terrorist attack.
कि यहाँ पे आतंकी हमला हुआ है.
Raids have been conducted at dozens of locations, Doda, Kishtwar and more. This is besides the houses of at least 9 suspected terrorists demolished last week in Pulwama, Kulgam and other areas. Close to 2,000 people have been detained and questioned. Many of these are said to be overground workers and persons with prior terror records. Vehicle searches, helicopter surveys, additional checkpoints have all focused on identifying individuals who provided logistical support and even assisted the killers in procuring arms. Intel agencies have released a list of 14 local terrorists linked to Pakistan-based groups like the Lashkar-e-Taiba, Jaish-e-Mohammed and Hizbul Mujahideen. These individuals are believed to have provided logistical support to foreign terrorists. Warnings of activation of sleeper cells in the region have prompted concerns of potential targeted killings. 48 of 87 tourist destinations in Jammu and Kashmir have been closed as a precautionary measure. Anti-Fedayeen squads have been deployed and intensive search continues for the perpetrators. A look at sketches released and rewards on offer. Adil Hussain Toker is a resident of Anantnag whose house was among the demolished. Investigators say Toker travelled to Pakistan in 2018 for terror training and returned to aid terrorists in Pahalgam. Ali Bhai, also known as Talha Bhai, is a Pakistani national affiliated with the Lashkar-e-Taiba. And there's Hashim Musa, who is believed to have been loaned by Pakistan's ISI to the LET for this operation. A bounty of 20 lakh rupees has been announced for each. On the ground, the biggest immediate setback and challenge for Kashmir is its tourist traffic, the mainstay of its economy, pulling away as Pahalgam terror resounded. There are still some who have not cancelled out, but the fact remains a shattered confidence has hit hard. The mayhem of the past took decades to repair. Beyond justice and action, only corrections here can really bring life back on track.
The first real impact of a surge in India-Pakistan tensions was felt at the ever-volatile India-Pakistan line of control in Jammu and Kashmir. The immediate fallout of the April 22nd Pahalgam attack is intensifying tensions along the 740-kilometer heavily militarized frontier, with people living near on both sides pushed into a recurring nightmare.
When India-Pakistan tensions heat up, so does the line of control. Through the last week, there are reports of unprovoked small arms fire from the Pakistani side across multiple sectors of this heavily guarded fence. Lipa Valley, Kupwara, Punch, Pargwal, Sundarbani were all epicenters. The Indian Army responded swiftly and effectively to violations. Patrolling and security is at its most intense in recent times. Dauke village has LOC fencing and army patrolling on 3 sides. 3 generations in Dauke have grown up in their shadow in the 5 decades since the line was set up. As they carry out farming activity right up to the barbed wire, they've seen things blue hot, blue cold. They know temperatures are running high.
There's no such talk of war as of now, but it could happen, and we pray it doesn't. Take it from here. We live here, and if war breaks out, the destruction will be immense. Nobody can compensate us for the kind of destruction it will bring. Nobody can compensate, and we would be left utterly hapless. There will be damage to them, Pakistan, and to us as well. Bullets do not discriminate, and neither do bombs. Wherever they hit, they cause destruction. Our homes are here. We are surrounded on all 4 sides, and we will have to face the consequences.
Cross over to the other side to Chakoti in Pakistan-occupied Kashmir. Here again, the locals themselves have nothing to do with it. Tensions are felt hard. The focus these days is repairing and refurbishing underground community bunkers and homemade shelters that they had last used in 2017. They know they might be needed again soon.
We live very close to the border where fire exchanges and shelling frequently take place. We've endured cross-border firing, which has been a tough experience, and we don't want our children to go through the same.
India's leadership has warned of a strong military reprisal to the Pahalgam terror attack. For people condemned by fate to live along the India-Pakistan line of control, the heat is up again. A storm to weather with a prayer that it dies out before the damage becomes irreversible.
Not just with India, Pakistan is battling many crises on many different fronts. Its ties with Taliban have also soured, and that has taken on ugly dimensions. The Taliban has opened a war front along Pakistan's volatile border. Pakistan's military announced that it killed 54 militants who attempted to cross over from Afghanistan. According to the Pakistan Army, the operation started last week in North Waziristan district. This is a rugged part of Khyber Pakhtunkhwa right along the Afghan border. Troops monitoring the sector spotted a large group of militants moving in and swiftly launched an operation. A large stockpile of weapons and explosives were also recovered. Interestingly, the Pakistani military is silent on losses or injuries among its own forces, raising more questions than answers. Pakistan's western borders have steadily descended into a hotbed of violence. The banned outfit Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan, better known as the TTP, has ramped up assaults on Pakistani troops, further straining Islamabad's already tense relationship with the Afghan Taliban. 2 gigantic 1500-year-old Buddha statues were destroyed by the Taliban in Bamiyan province in Afghanistan back in March 2001. And now, 24 years later, there's a perceptible change in the Taliban's tune towards Afghan heritage sites, a visible softening of fundamentalist mindsets. Take a look at our next report.
The Taliban 2.0, seeking international recognition, is leaving no stone unturned to woo the global community. Archaeological finds, particularly related to Buddhism, have proliferated, and the discoveries are being publicized. Even months before taking over Afghanistan in 2021, the Taliban, in February of that year, had called for the protection of ancient artifacts in the country, declaring them part of the country's history, identity, and rich culture. In December 2021, in the first act of staying true to their word, the Taliban government reopened the National Museum of Afghanistan. The same site where they had once destroyed pre-Islamic artifacts. The following year, they reached out to the Aga Khan Trust for Culture to help preserve the historic Buddhist site of Mez Ainak. The archaeological site is also renowned for a large copper deposit, which is under a development contract with the Chinese consortium. The Taliban authorities, having finally understood the damage to their reputation caused by the destruction of Bamiyan statues in 2001, are paying a great deal of attention to the preservation of these sites now. In the eastern Laghman province, niches carved into rocks are believed to have been storerooms dating back to the Kushan Empire, which 2000 years ago stretched from the Gobi Desert to the river Ganga. Carved Brahmi inscriptions have also been found here, along with a hollowed out stone slab used for pounding grapes for wine.
Whatever has been left for us in inheritance from our ancestors during 5,000 years of history, that is our culture. Whether it's from Buddhism era, Islamic era, or any era, its artistic value and historical precedent is important for us.
In the Ghazni province as well, where among the millennia-old heritage being protected are some recently uncovered Buddhist statues.
There were 3 statues among these artifacts, and these 3 statues are pre-Islamic, and they are professionally and properly being protected in our depot with other artifacts so that they are not destroyed. Because these artifacts and all historical artifacts have its speciality, and it is valuable because it's related to old eras. So its protection and all other artifacts' protection is our duty.
A big credit for restoring the cultural heritage goes to the announcement of a decree for the same by the Supreme Leader of Afghanistan, Hibatullah Akhundzada. The efforts to preserve Afghanistan's heritage can give a boost to the country's tourism and economic development. However, lack of financial resources, departure of the archaeological and heritage elite, and insecurity are obvious challenges in this endeavor. Experts are cautiously optimistic, highlighting the fact that the Taliban authorities have yet to extend the same concern to intangible heritage, such as music, dance, folklore, and essentially anything involving women's participation. Till the Taliban, in their severe interpretation of Islam, get rid of this red line, these rapid strides in heritage preservation will still leave certain pertinent questions unanswered.
And that's all that we have for you on our show today. But before we go, we leave you with visuals of opening of the Char Dham Yatra that has begun in India. Take a look at these visuals. We'll see you again next week.
Africans worldwide unite in solidarity with Burkina Faso's leader, Captain Ibrahim Traore, following an assassination attempt and US accusations against him. Traore's defiance of neo-colonialism and fight for African